This video is all about our weekly attendance features that we've added into TrackEd just recently. Previously, the attendance information came in from a attendance and behaviour import. We've now renamed that one the student summary. That comes from one school and only shows the current balance of absences for the year to date, so it's not a lot of information in that. The weekly attendance is designed to be a weekly import of basically the percentage of attendance that they've had within that week. Now, we've actually built this to have two different sources. One of them can be directly from IDAttend, and it's set up to use a regularly used CSV file that you can pull out of IDAttend quite easily, or you can use our TrackEd template as well. If you're using a different system other than IDAttend, that may be a good way to go about it. But again, just follow the step-by-step instructions to source that information. I will open up this TrackEd template just now to show you what information we're actually using. Save attendance template to the desktop, and I'll open that Excel up. And if we have a look here, we've got the student IDs, then we've got their names, which is really optional, and in that week it's really a total possible, so depending on your system, that might be 25 periods, and they were there for 24 but 25 approved, so that would give them 100% present plus approved. Or that might be percentages themselves, so that might be 1 and that might be 0.97 and that might be 1 as well. So depending on what your system spits out, we can handle that in different ways, just as long as that's a percentage of or a ratio of what's possible for that period. So this is done weekly. It can be done backdated and brought up to quite quickly to where we're up to at the moment. And really what we're trying to do is populate the information that we can use for this new attendance list that we have. So this is a list view. You can use all of the features of TrackEd to get any found set that you want. There might be your at-risk students, they might be the entire cohort. We've even added a multiple cohort selection, so you can actually do this for the whole 3 years at once. Once you've got this up, you can use percentage present or percentage present plus approved, depending on how you'd like to report that information. I'll use the percentage present in this case. You can use our bands, which color code by these colors here, or you can use the traffic light reporting, which is just 3 colors, and you actually get to set those percentages on the settings page as to where you'd like to be. So that's the traffic light version. So we've got top, mid and low, and then we've got our band version, which puts them into those groupings with a bit more detail and clarity at the top end, and then as you go down, the gaps get wider between them. Okay, so basically once you've got your found set of students and you've displayed them in the order you like, you can use these that add the purple bars, or you can just sort by any heading at all. So sort by the term, sort by their role class, and it actually inserts role class and gives you year to date plus attendance percentages for each of those. So you can do that by graduation year if you're doing more than one cohort at once. There's a whole bunch of different options there. The next thing I'd like to draw your attention to is this selected period. These 3 columns here are dictated by what you put into this area here. So I go week 6 to week 10. That's going to update the stats with the last 5 weeks of data. So this is their average for that 5 weeks. You can actually mouse over and see what that means. This is versus the year-to-date average. So the 100%, they're exactly the same. We've got one here that's 96% for the year, but 95.2% for this period. And so therefore they're traveling at 0.8% below their own year-to-date average. And then if I sort by this versus year-to-date, I can actually look at, well, these are the ones who are gained the most in this 5-year period compared to their own average. And these are the ones who are trending down compared to their own average. So potentially I want to have a look at these students, look at having a conversation with them, talking about what the reasons might be, but really we're isolating that. In this case, over a 5-week period, and you could then change that to a 3-week period and do that same search and find whichever group of students you want. I just tapped one of these headings a second time. That's actually sorting the opposite direction then. This 3rd column I didn't explain, but it's the year to date plus minus. So in this 3-week period, how their year-to-date average trended, whether it went up in that period or whether it went down in that period, and by how much. So there are 3 different stats that you can use to really pick up on those trends. But again, we've just got the week 1 through to week 10 in this case. You can actually set which week you want to begin with, and it'll then fill the data in across there. So as the year goes on, you can have a look at any 10-week period. You can have a look at any of the terms and the year-to-date averages. Again, we've actually added a new field here called Attendance Coach. So it's just another way of grouping students and being able to pull up the information about those. These are all printable, so if I'm looking at the last 3 weeks, I'm going to sort by year to date, and then I'll just preview this in A4, but this is how this would actually print out, so I could stick it up on a wall at whatever interval I want, and just demonstrate where students are up to, and that could be sorted from best to worst, worst to best, or if I exit the preview here, I could just sort it by their last name. And then it's all sort of randomized, but students can look themselves up and just see how they're going specifically. So we hope this attendance stuff is useful, and basically will help with attendance tracking.